Here's our next one on Garage Gas Mails.
Hey, it's the Webmaster. Are you guys interested in hearing the story of how I was almost banned for life by the call screener on the first day of the professor's new show? Or should I just let bygones be bygones?
End of message.
I gotta say, I'm first in line and say, well, I'd like to hear how you almost got banned for life.
I would too. In fact, I think this should be the beginning of a battle, and we should get regular updates on it.
I think
that's what I think.
Yeah, that's actually
but it's entirely up to you, Commando.
A great idea. Yeah.
You are the Webmaster, though.
See how many times
it sounds like some people don't quite understand that.
See how many times you can get the phrase "Graz with gas told me" on the Sports Saturday. That'd be pretty damn good, huh?
That would be.
Well, Graz with gas told me.
Here's our next one on Garage Gas Mails. This is the final voicemail.
So I call in the John Clayton Dammit's new Saturday show, right? And like how most of these things go, the call screener asks, what's your name? Naturally, I say Commando Dave, and the call screener asks, what's your question? I said, I have a few questions. And the call screener said, well, I need one to put up on the board. I said, I want to ask, why isn't the show called Sports Saturday any longer? A logical question that deserves an answer, right? Especially since the day before, when JC was on with KC, I called in and asked John Clayton Dammit how the voice of the Sonics could scoop the webmaster of JohnClaytonDammit.com on his defection. And John Clayton Dammit said, call tomorrow and I'll give you the full details. You can quiz me on any question possible. So I'm like, cool. But the call screener said, you can't ask him that. We don't want to make him feel uncomfortable. Do you have another question? And I'm thinking, feel uncomfortable? He's John Clayton, damn it. So I've been calling sports radio for a solid 10 years, and I've learned a few moves to get on the air, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I made my bones with Captain Redhead, so I make up some BS question about Jamarcus Russell. But the call screener saw through that immediately and said, I don't think you're really going to ask that question. Is there something else you want to ask? And I'm sitting there thinking, a new day, a new way. Now, I didn't think I had to have my best stuff to get by the call screener since John Clayton Dammit had just come back from a break and said, I want to hear from Dre, I want to hear from Commando Dave, I want to hear from Vince, and let's go to Victor and Auburn. Now, as a caller, and I think you guys know this about me, except that one time, Gas, when I tried to pick every game on the board, that disastrous segment of Commando versus Gas versus Caller. But other than that, I always uphold my part of the deal by listening to the show, and I just figured that call screeners are listening too.
Yeah, I think so.
In the words of Don Henley on Life in the Fast Lane, are you with me so far?
End of message.
Wow. There's more, it sounds like.
All right. Well,
Boy, this is a serial.
We wanted it, and Chapter 1 was fan-friggin-tastic.
I make up some BS question about Jamarcus Russ. That's fantastic.
I've gotten around a call screener or two in my 10 years. Time for a little thing we like to call... sad news, Gas away.
You kidding me?
The final one.
Like I said, I didn't think I had to have my best stuff to get by this particular call screener the first Saturday of John Clayton Dammit's new show. So when the Jamarcus Russell question didn't work, I came with my changeup and said I wanted to ask if the Seahawks were thinking about moving down in the draft. And as that BS is flying out of my mouth, I'm thinking, where is DJ Jam Master Josh when you need him? He's my pusher, man. And I need my conversational fix of John Clayton Dammit. I mean, I know he's a Hall of Famer, the professor, the guru of the NFL, and of the walk on East Lake. But it's usually a lot easier talking to him on the air on Saturdays, even for a drunk by 9 a.m. guy like Irish Minky. So anyway, the call screener knocked the Seahawk draft question out of the park, too, and started going off with, you can't mention the other station, don't say anything about your website, and you're making me really nervous about putting you on the air. So then I said, hey, look, I'm one of John Clayton's regular callers, and he just said he wanted me to call. And the call screener said, I'm going to give you one chance, and if you blow it, you won't be able to call again. Ooh. And the only thing I could even think to say in reply to that was, what are you talking about? And then the call screener said, why don't you just email John the question, and hung up on me. So I called back.
End of message.
Well, now we got to wait all weekend. And meanwhile, who knows what'll happen tomorrow. So I called back.
This is like unbelievable.
Yeah.
I didn't know Commando Dave could serialize a story like this.
This
is like the grand old days of radio, man. All you need is
It really is. It really
a little piano playing in the background.
I like the fact, too, boy, you call KJR with a warm pulse and urine stream. You're on the air, man.
Who's screening calls over there, man?
No, maybe it's Victor Cruel.
Maybe it is. Time for a little thing we like to call.
This is it, Grosley.
The final voicemail.
So despite John Clayton, damn it, coming back from the very first break on the first Saturday of his new show and saying, I want to hear from Commando Dave, and you can quiz me on this transition, and then giving me another shout-out during the 11 o'clock hour to call in. Like I said, the call screener hung up on me twice, and as I'm calling back for the third time, I started thinking, what am I calling back for? I've been hung up on twice after being pre-censored and threatened with never being able to call in again if I blow it, which is inevitable because when I'm on sports radio, I do what I do, and when I do it this time on John Clayton Damage new show, that's going to be it anyway. So I call back. Just resign yourself to the fact that it's over. You may be the webmaster with 100-plus John Clayton Dammit calls under your belt, but you're never talking to John Clayton Dammit on the air again. And once that depressing realization sunk in, I had to call DJ Jam Master Josh and tell him you're not going to believe it, but I've been banned from John Clayton Damage new show before ever being on John Clayton Damage new show. And then I went back to listening, and lo and behold, I hear John Clayton Damage say all the callers are still trying to identify themselves with the new call taker, and it's going to take a little time. So Commando Dave, call in the next segment. And now we go to Mike Sando. So after Sando's segment was over, I took a deep breath and called John Clayton Damage show for the third time.
End of message.
We just
this
keep getting
just
strung
so
out.
Good.
It's just
keep it going, brother.
It's a strung out radio serial.
I'm loving every minute of it. It's just fantastic. How could you be banned before you even called? The webmaster, the guy who does JohnClaytonDammit.com.
Don't be so damned sensitive over there. Grow up.
By the way, you want to see something really funny?
What?
Have you seen Baby John Clayton yet?
No.
Oh, you're kidding. You haven't?
No, I haven't seen Baby John Clayton yet.
This was, I'm pretty sure it was from today. I don't know if they're going to have Clayton on because they would do. Oh, there it is. Do you see him?
That's Baby John Clayton.
Did you see what he looks like?
Yeah, I did see what he looks like.
It was pretty good, didn't you?
It's all right, yeah. I mean, every baby looks like Clayton.
Time for a little thing we like to call. Sad news, guess away.
This is it.
The final voicemail.
Now, before I tell you about that third and final call to John Clayton Dammit's new show, I should probably tell you this. The Tuesday prior to that first Saturday, I tracked John Clayton Dammit to the BNS show, the show with the lefty dog and Beantowner. And I probably wouldn't call this show, but since it was John Clayton Dammit's first appearance on the new Blowtorch, I figured the professor could use a familiar voice welcoming him to his new digs, right?
Sure.
So when this call screener asked my name, I said Dave. And when this call screener asked what's your question, I said I wanted to ask about the format of the new Saturday show that Percy Allen wrote was going to be called Sports Saturday. And this call screener gave me the old standard, okay, hold on. So I'm holding on. A few minutes later, this call screener came back on the line and said, John Clayton is going to talk about the new format anyway, so we're not going to put you on. And that's when I first came up with the BS Jamarcus Russell question. And this call screener then said, okay, hold on. So, needless to say, as the webmaster, I was excited to speak with John Clayton Dammit during his debut on the BNS show, which really should be called the S&B show since S has pretty much taken over. And it was even S who said, Dave, you're up with John Clayton here on BNS, go ahead. And I said, what's up, John Clayton? But I couldn't hear anything. So then I said, you there? Still couldn't hear anything, and the phone just went dead.
End of message.
And that's that.
Holy cow, Commando.
This is really taking a long time, isn't it?
Well, we've got time.
Well, yeah, we'll get another butt time.
We've got time. I'm enjoying the hell out of it.
It's a radio serial.
It is a drama, man.
Yeah.
Time for a little thing we like to call.
Is that That wasn't even the last one, guys.
This is the final voicemail.
So the line goes mysteriously dead when I'm trying to talk to John Clayton, damn it, on the BNS show, right? I say mysteriously since all the other calls got through, but also because of a beef I had with B over a movement he tried to mount on the Seahawks pregame show a couple of years ago, September 23rd, 07 to be exact,
awesome.
When he took it upon himself to try and unilaterally change the 12th man to the 12th fan so it's more gender-friendly. I'm the webmaster, but don't get it twisted. First and foremost and always, I'm a sports fan activist, and that really stuck in my craw so bad all day, I just had to call the post-game show to address it. And I've never called a Seahawks post-game show in my life, but I got in line early, very early, in fact. And although Dory Monson vehemently disagreed with B, I was bringing it to the show, and Monson had the wild audacity to hang up on me to protect B from getting blasted, and then tried to punk me to boot. So I put Dory Monson on my show. It's on the website. The funny thing about it, during the next racing season, I saw him at Emerald Downs. And as he was standing there enjoying a mustard-up hot dog and gazing out at the track thinking about his next race, two things kept me from blindside clotheslining Dory Monson Jack Tatum style. First, I was winning. Second, he had Dave Wyman with him. Anyway, on the surface, me trying to talk to John Clayton, damn it, on BNS and getting mysteriously disconnected sounds one way. Below the surface...
End of message.
Well, there you go. Now we're into the third week of this.
Are you still enjoying it?
Yeah, it has its moments. It's a long story, I'll say that much.
And I appreciate Commando breaking it into segments for us.
It's a long, because now there's been two more. This is going back 3 weeks ago.
It's
right?
Yeah.
There's been two more John Clayton Damage shows since then.
Well, I'm sure we're going to be updated on that. There's a lot of details to get into.
There are a lot of details.
Although it sounds to me like he's out. What's the point in him trying to call John Clayton Show anymore?
I don't know.
He's done.
They won't let him on.
He won't pretend to be someone else, I don't think.
No, I don't think he will.
Or disguise his voice. I wish he would.
That'd
get
be
on
awesome.
and then become Commando Dave again.
Well, then they'd hang up on him.
Well, but he'd be on.
They're scared of Commando Dave. That should be the tagline.
Once he's on the air, that's when he makes his move.
Yes.
Time for a little thing we like to call.
Is this it or not?
No, we're still rolling on Graza Gas Mails.
I know it's a little detailed, but what good story isn't, right? And I could have gone every day instead of every other day to speed it up, but hey, I got to do something while I'm waiting for 162 games to be played.
That's fair enough.
So after I got cut off talking to John Clayton, damn it, on the BNS show, S pops off. Well, so much for Dave. And then John Clayton, damn it, says, that's Commando Dave. He runs the website that promotes me more than anybody else. And then S says, until now, meaning that the BNS show page is going to start promoting John Clayton, damn it, more than the unauthorized official bootleg website of ESPN's John Clayton.
That can't happen.
The BNS show page is less than a month old. JohnClaytonDammit.com has a 5-year head start with Clayton characters, the Clayton Cuties, wearing the NFL as John Clayton Dammit, Clayton's Crazy Contest, Clayton Golf, Clayton's the Hall of Fame page, and the new NFL of Love bus with John Clayton Dammit. So I seriously doubt it. Now back to calling John Clayton Dammit's new show for the third time after the call screener hung up on me twice. And when I say I resigned myself to never talking to John Clayton Dammit on the air again, that was for real. I was tripping. Now the call screener answers the phone, and naturally I say it's Commando Dave. And I BS you not. The call screener says, hey, Commando Dave, I saw your website. Great job. And then suddenly another voice comes on the line. And to my surprise, it was a suit.
End of message.
A suit? How about that? They got suits answering the phone.
How does he know this?
I don't know. It feels like it's coming to a close, though. And I think appropriately so. Yeah. It needs to come to a close. There's some urgency to it. So I wonder if they're going to offer him a job.
I don't know. You think maybe that's what it is?
I don't know.
It'd be smart.
Well,
have as an ally than as an enemy.
You don't need him out there as ask what's her name over on the old soap opera show what happens when he just takes a disliking to you.
Yeah, the show's gone, isn't it?
That's right.
This is it, by the way.
The final one?
This is it.
All right, shall we get into it? Why not? Here's voicemail number 1.
Garage, yes, Benny Beaver here.
Benny?
Hope you guys are doing well, of course.
Thanks. Thank you.
Wonder if you guys could do me a favor. I missed the last few calls of Commando Dave relating his experiences and trying to get through to Clayton's show on your Brand X competitors over there. Can you tell me what happened? Did he actually get through, and did the producer end up being fired, or given a long trip somewhere, or did you just hand him over to Coach Victor Cruel for a Machine Gun May target practice? Thanks.
I'm not sure. Did we ever get the end of that?
Well, I think we complained about it, and we didn't get the last one.
Is that what it was?
I think we did.
It was long. It was a long story.
It was getting a little long, and I think we mentioned it. No, we're fine with Commando Dave.
Oh, yeah, we got no Commando Dave issues.
He came to the book party.
Yeah, we're big Commando Dave guys.
Commando Dave's fine, but I think it's just so. In other words, I think the story's still in progress.
It could be.
Well, it hasn't been resolved. We'd know if it was resolved.
I guess, yeah.
It hasn't been. But I found myself on Sports Saturday listening to Softy.
Is that right?
I wouldn't know.
You don't miss the old Sports Saturday.
Softy happened to be on at 9:30. Sounded great.
Yeah, is that right?
We talked about all kinds of things, by the way.
Not just the NFL?
Not just the NFL. Here's our next one on Grouse and Gas Mails. All right, this is it, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Final voicemail.
The front office guy who jumped on the line says, Commando Dave, this is so-and-so, and my title is such and such, and thanks for calling the show, and John Clayton really wants to talk to you, and here you go. And the next thing I know, I'm talking to John Clayton, damn it, on his new show.
All right.
About that.
No, I haven't called since, but I think I will tomorrow. I usually lay a little low during the off season, but the first Saturday of the new show was a big John Clayton Damn It event, and as the only member of the John Clayton Damn It paparazzi, I had to be in the rotation of all the other Clayton cronies chomping at the bit to talk to the Hall of Famer on the first Saturday of his new show. Know what I mean? And that's the story of how the webmaster of JohnClaytonDammit.com was almost banned from calling the professor's show. And if there's a moral to the story, I guess it's you don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. Mm-hmm. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger. And if you're going to screen call for John Clayton Dammit, you should do your homework.
End of message.
Let Commando Dave in.
I wonder, part of the problem over there, too, is, there's like a list of people who are not allowed to talk to Clayton.
Well, you know who might be behind that?
There's only a few. Well, Clayton.
Exactly.
There's only a few people who are even allowed to address him.
Josh and those guys ignored that when they ran a show here. Clayton has got a lot of Nixon in him.
Yeah, he does.
He's got an enemy's list. Believe me. I have seen it in action.
You've been on it at various times.
Time for a little thing we like to call